What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Week 1 NFL Cash Process Edition 2021. We survived 2020 in the COVID year. I'm your host, AC, with DFSkarma.com and also betkarma.com. And as usual, I have the co-captain, the co-pilot, Ben Hostler. How are you doing, sir? It's been a minute since me and you have been on a podcast. I sound a little stuffy. I'm under the weather. Had the flu, but I'm grinding through this. You know, we had to get through the cash process. So how you doing, my man? How's things going? And I'm looking forward to another fun year with NFL and the Cash Process podcast.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Excited to get back into NFL. You and I haven't done a pod since I think the first month of baseball. We did like one baseball video together, so it's been quite some time. I'm just ready for football. I know you are too, and excited to grind and get back to work.
Yeah, I love it, man. So happy to have everybody back. We'll get to a lot of the things going on. It's week 1. There's not a lot of data to dive through. We're going to have some fun. Obviously, we're going to hopefully look to pick some of the winning situations. Obviously, we'll sprinkle in some of our game theory as we started doing the last couple of years. It won't be just a cash process, even though that's what it's called. We do want to say thank you for always coming back, because it seems that like year after year, it's surprising how many people actually continue to come back. And, NFL is king. We know that. Content is king. But seriously, thank you guys. What we want from you, week 1, right now, give us a thumbs up on the YouTube button. Leave us a review on iTunes, any medium outlet that you're listening on to. And please leave us a comment. Ben and I, we'll jump in there. Leave a comment on what your expectations are this year. The comments will help us get going. Seriously, thank you so much for doing that. A quick couple updates. Each week, obviously, we'll dangle some carrot on some housekeeping things. But, man, the beat keeps going at DFSkarma.com and betkarma.com. I mean, every year there's new things going on. As you can see, if you're actually watching on YouTube, we've had the projections portal the last couple of years, and it's continued to get better and better. It is now a premium product. This was free for a long time. So what Ben and I are going to do on the cash process is, as you can see, it's not just our big juicy face that you're used to seeing. And I know as much as you love seeing us, we do want you, especially the YouTube family, to kind of learn with us on how we use the simulations and the data and the actual projections portal itself. And we'll kind of go through some things, not all of it, but every week. It's just a little sneak peek. Frankly, you can't see it that great, but it's enough to be dangerous. Now, this is a part of our package that you can buy at dfskarma.com. You get our core plays. You get this projections portal. This is what I use. I'm spending tens of thousands weekly and entering on DraftKings, and I'm using this projections portal. It's a part of my process. You'll get a bunch of our premium content, including our final thoughts, and obviously access to all of us expert players in Discord. And then betkarma.com. Man, there's so much going on there, from the props comparison tools to the live odds stuff, the live trends. Check it out. Lots of additions to the staff over there as well. Lots going on. All right, Ben, I didn't want to talk too much, but had to get some of the housekeeping. We have to, right? I mean, look at our website. It's like there's so much going on, and there's so many updates. Like, I'm just so excited, so bullish about where we're headed. Let's get into the cash process, because this is what the people want. I'm going to go to you. I already know a guy that I think you're going to be on at quarterback. As always, we're going to start at quarterback. I'm pulling it up on my screen, as are you, Ben. And you take a look at the projections portal for those actually watching on YouTube. And something that, and again, shout out to Sam, who's, the mastermind behind, the baseball, the golf, the NBA, and the NFL one. And we like to say, we like to bring the sex to life, the color, the images. And it's supposed to, there is more data for some of these positions than you need, but the stronger data sticks out. Now, this is just a first run. And when we get to wide receivers, we have some issues already, but we wanted to get this podcast out. As the weeks go on, you'll see this get more refined. It'll make it very easy. Like, you should be able to log into the projections portal, like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever you like to do as far as when you're studying. And you can make good decisions in, honestly, minutes, right, Ben? I mean, honestly, you can make a good cash lineup Saturday afternoon, just going to the projections portal. And I'll start right now. I mean, again, it's more for running backs and receivers, but I like to look at what's called our karma value. The value section right now, a lot of the values popping because it's Monday. Again, we're going to just get this out there now. But Ben, enough of the data talk. I wanted to start with that. Who are you looking at for your early week 1 quarterback plays of the week?
Yeah, so first of all, before I talk about that, 100 likes is the goal for this video. Bales and
Let's
I
get 100.
talked about
I
that.
want 100. I
100
want 100.
likes, 100 thumbs
Please.
ups. It takes 1 second to click that thumbs up, so please do that. As far as quarterback goes, I mean, we have the usual guys up top here, right? Mahomes, 8,100. Kyler, Josh Allen, all those guys. That's the top three in terms of our projections. But I think where ownership is going to go, at least as of right now, I think a lot of people are going to look at Jalen Hurts at 6,400 in the dome against the Falcons. I definitely think he's going to be really popular in cash games. I don't have any problems with him. He's definitely in my pool as of now. And I really like Ryan Tannehill priced at 6,500 right next to him as well at home. So Arizona's really banged up in the secondary already. They lost Malcolm Butler, basically kind of dipped out and retired. And they have a really bad secondary outside of him, anyways. So I think that it's a really good spot for the Titans passing game at home in that game. And obviously, Hurts provides that rushing upside that I look for. I don't really remember the last time I didn't play someone like Hurts or Lamar in cash just because you get so much. Like the floor is so good with the rushing, which anyone that has watched these videos in the past knows that that's something I definitely look for. But that's probably the two that stick out the most to me if you're not spending up. I do think Kyler is interesting on the opposite side of that Tennessee game. I just really like that game overall for week 1. But I think that's the first three that stuck out to me. There is someone that's really cheap that I'll talk about later that I definitely think's in play, but that was the top three that stuck out to me at first glance.
I love how you and I have not been. I mean, you know me, Ben, at this point in my career, I got so much going on trying to juggle managing the sites, growing the business that you're in the trenches during the preseason. So I feel like you definitely have a leg up on me. And we haven't even really talked about that. But I like that, though. I like that in specific. And I damn well knew you were going to talk about Jalen Hurts. That's who I was. That's my marked man right now. That's who I'm personally playing in my cash game lineup as of this second at $6,400. I mean, you can clearly even see in the projections portal. I mean, he kind of sticks out. Also, I like your take on Ryan Tannehill. I kind of put like a little Word document for subscribers in our NFL Premium chat room. Just a little, I'll probably update it a few times throughout the year because I tend to get a bunch of DMs asking, hey, what's your process throughout the NFL season as the weeks go on? So I just kind of put a little pen to paper on what I like to do. And I like to play 3 max entry stuff and then have my main bullet, my main cash hybrid, quote unquote, lineup. So Jalen Hurts is in my main lineup as of right now. And Ryan Tannehill, that game I just love. I'm assuming that'll be a popular take, I guess. But I have a game stack right now. That's like my second favorite lineup right now, the entire slate. I know there's questionable tags on Julio and AJ Brown. And frankly, half of DraftKings, it looks like, has a Q next to their name. So I don't buy anything. I mean, whatever. That's a fun, easy game to stack, in my opinion. Who's the other person you're talking about that's cheap? You talking about your boy Teddy Bridge at 48? Or are you talking about there's someone else I like actually a lot for GPPs?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Mac Jones. He's 4,400 at home against Miami. Obviously, Miami, good defense, good secondary, but I think Mac Jones is really good. Bales and I did a bold calls podcast a couple weeks ago, and one of my bold calls, this was before Cam Newton got released by the Patriots, but one of my bold calls was Mac Jones wins Rookie of the Year. I think he obviously has upside, looked really, really strong in the preseason, and I don't know. I feel like week 1 is always kind of stars and scrubs because the pricing comes out so early. I think you can certainly use him in cash if you want to at that price. I think you can jam in like the best 3 running back plays on the slate And I don't think you have to use Mac Jones, but obviously using Mac Jones is a way to do that. But I do think he's in play at that price. It's just too cheap.
Well, he is one of my other lineups in my 3-max entry, just because, like you said, 4,400 or whatever. I was like, whatever. If he throws a touchdown, he can almost hit value with that. There is a guy. I'll just say it now. I'm assuming we'll go to running back right now, Ben. I mean, CMC every week, I'm assuming is going to be a lock. But dude, when I saw the schedule, I mean, I immediately put down Sam Darnold going against the New York Jets week 1. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I think Sam Darnold is like the epitome of a leverage play of the entire slate. I don't know, like, if that's going to be a hot take with all the DFS touts throughout the week or whatnot in GPP world, but there's a lot of quarterbacks this week, and I don't think Sam Darnold's going to get any love. I love that game stack, especially because I'm assuming, let's go to it, Ben. I'm guessing CMC is going to be a lock in cash games, right? So why not? Just something to think about.
Yeah, I actually, speaking of that Bold Calls podcast, one of my others was actually that the Panthers win double-digit games. So I think that's a good call as well. I don't think people will be on it whatsoever. So I think that's a really good tournament play. But yeah, switching over to running back here, I do think McCaffrey, obviously Dalvin Cook, these guys are going to be really high owned. There's too much value not to fit these guys in, especially when we get over to receiver. So I think, at least as of right now, like, you can easily make a lineup with McCaffrey, Cook, and Alvin Kamara all in it. Like, I totally think that's possible. Kamara, obviously, he's the cheapest of the three. Gets that bump with Thomas out. I know it's a new quarterback, obviously, with Winston taking over, but we've seen just such massive usage from him in the past when Thomas has been out. Obviously, he's not going to play in that game. So, tough not to consider him on DraftKings with the full point PPR. Dalvin's on the road, but Minnesota's favored, and you know that they're, probably going to be winning that game. And then McCaffrey's McCaffrey. So I don't know. I'm assuming I would rank them McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook in that order, but I think you for sure would want to play two. I think you could play all three if you want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I can play all three, Kamara, Cook, and CMC. Again, Ben, I hope you clicked the running backs portion of the projections. Again, for the YouTube fam, if you're listening, again, if you haven't already given us the thumbs up, please do it now. Like, we're giving you premium now of the data tools, the visualizations for free right now. But these things are going to update throughout the week. This is not obviously a polished product right now, Monday. But as you can see, like, I'm going to point out the value section again later this week. This will be like orange and blue because that's like our patented colors for the other sports. CMC, Alvin Kamara. I'll just go down the list right now. Joe Mixon. I actually really, 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 really like Joe Mixon. Stu was talking about him in our DFS channel this morning. Scroll down to Antonio Gibson's popping right now. Again, this is just Monday, but later in the week, this portal in specific will really do the work for you. I promise as the season goes on. I mean, again, I'll say it again. I'm trying to not be biased. Somebody that plays thousands of dollars in DFS lineups, I just use our stuff now at this point. Like, I built this company around the pride of using our stuff. Like, these tools work. This data works. It's not really a hot take, but again, you can use this table. So that's why Ben and I are going this route on these podcasts to kind of showcase this stuff as well. Okay, so anyways, Ben, yeah, CMC an absolute lock. I mean, if he doesn't hit value, everyone else is going to play him. That's why I like Sam Darnold as a hedge. Can you just talk me off the ledge? What have I missed with James Robinson, Ben? Why I wanted to plug him in to my cash game. Why is he? Am I wrong by saying James Robinson's not a lock? I thought he was a lock. What am I missing? Why is he not a lock this week?
I don't know. I mean, I would rather spend up for two running backs than use him. If I was going to use him, I'd rather use Antonio Gibson for cheaper. He is a good play. Obviously, Houston's terrible. But I mean, he's on the road, and I don't know. You just don't know what Urban Meyer's going to do. Like, he's just, first of all, I don't know how anyone thinks he's going to be a good coach. He has his boy Carlos Hyde there. Like, would it even shock you if, like, he just randomly runs Carlos Hyde? Like, It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, week one's tough, man. I mean, I'm glad you're already talking me off the ledge there. I mean, for right now, I mean, I think my temporary lineup is CMC, Cook, and then ironically, I actually have Chris Carson in there, and that's only because it fit my salary. Again, it's Monday, and it's an interesting point because to your point, and especially like if you look at our projections portal, like Antonio Gibson just pops. I feel like everybody is going to play Antonio Gibson, but I feel like a natural pivot this week is Chris Carson. Is Indy's front seven? I mean, they lost a couple of key guys, if I'm not mistaken, not to really dive into the weeds tonight. But what are your thoughts on Chris Carson this week?
Yeah, I think regardless, that's an interesting spot just because there's been so much talk about the Seattle passing game being more aggressive, letting Russ cook, all that with the new offensive coordinator. And we know that Carson is capable in the passing game. At the beginning of last season, I mean, he was catching balls quite often when they actually were actually throwing the ball, unlike they did to close the year. So I do think that's a really good tournament play. I have no issues with that. Gibson, I'm just a huge fan of. I know I tweeted out a while ago, like guys that I really want to target in season long. He was one of them. I do think he's going
You're not
to
worried
have a
about
huge role.
targets? You're not worried about J.D. McKisson taking his targets? I'm talking this week, not the season. I
Yeah,
believe you on
I
the
mean,
season.
yeah, he
It's a
could.
tough match,
He certainly
real tough.
could take third down work, which he did some in the preseason. But I just think that his role is going to be so big. Like I think he's like they're going to feed him, and yeah, it is a tough matchup. That game's actually going to be really good. I think both those teams are good. I know I told Bales earlier. I think Washington might have the best defense in the league, and obviously we know the Chargers' offense is loaded. They have a good defense as well. That's gonna be a really fun game to watch.
Trying to think. Last thing, I kind of highlighted it early, just with the projections portal doing the work for me. Dude, I like Joe Mixon this week. Tell me Joe Mixon is not a good play. I mean, Gio Bernard is gone. I mean, Mixon is cash viable this week.
Yeah, I think he's in play at that price certainly. I don't know, home dog. I think I like the passing game a little bit more, but he is capable in the passing game. Really cheap. Definitely a fine tournament play. I have no issues with that in GPPs.
All right, let's go to wide receiver. Sorry for the issues with the projections portal. We're going to go there anyways, though. Let's bring it up. Wide receiver, Ben. I know the strategy, but let me talk macro, and then I'll go to you, and you can start talking. And clearly, this is going to be a pay down week for wide receiver. That being said, we talked about 3 max entry strategies earlier on this podcast. We also talked about it in our Discord already. I think it's a very, very, very interesting scenario to make a GPP lineup, like Ben said with Mac Jones, a quarterback, a couple of cheap running backs. I mean, Chase Edmonds, I think, is 4,600. There's Devontae Williams, right, at 4,000. And then, dude, just pick 4 of the highest wide receivers, and you have an unbelievable leveraged, unique lineup with a massive ceiling by playing all top 4 receivers on the slate. That's a strategy I like to do. I make those type of lineups knowing they're probably going to lose in GPPs. But again, now, Ben, let's stick to the cash process, right? Where are you generally looking this week for your wide receivers?
Yeah, so definitely way too many cheap guys at receiver. So we're definitely gonna be saving in cash to get those high price running backs. But if you're spending up, I think Ridley's probably my favorite. Average over 20 fantasy points per game with Julio Jones out last year. Obviously, Jones in Tennessee now. Like that game a lot. People are going to be playing Hurts, so that's kind of some correlation on the other side. Hopkins, I think, is a really good spot as well. And then both of the Tennessee guys, obviously, we were talking about my interest in Ryan Tannehill. I do think A.J. Brown and Julio Jones both are in play at those price tags. So I don't know who I would pick if I had to pick one as of now, but I definitely think Ridley and the Tennessee guys are probably my favorites at the top as of this moment. Obviously, Devontae Adams you can consider as well, given the the usage he saw last year. Not going to be any secret at 8,300.
Again, I do, for you guys watching on YouTube, I do apologize. Like I said, there's going to be some kinks early on here. We'll beat Sam up and make sure he fixes this. But the one thing I want you to do, Ben, is sort by value for right now. And I know you guys can't see the player names, whatever. this is, it's a functional tool on our website. So like, again, you can do this with running backs, the quarterbacks, obviously the wide receivers. There's all kinds of different categories as you research and you're writing down pen to paper. This is something I love to do, is the value section in specific. Let's talk about Marvin Jones. I mean, I know it's early. Why is he just like skyrocketing in our value? I noticed him right away when I opened up the portal. Why is he just like 4x the field in value right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously good matchup against Houston. Probably going to be the main target for the Jaguars at the moment. And he's just underpriced. He's definitely going to be chalk, but I actually think,
I thought DJ Shark's back, and so is
yeah, he is.
Levinsky.
But I mean, DJ Shark barely played in the preseason. Lawrence threw to Marvin Jones a bunch in their preseason games, and everybody loves playing Marvin Jones in DFS, which has been the case for the last couple seasons. But I actually think if you would have, like, if we would have this video 3 weeks ago, that's what we would have been talking about. Marquez Callaway is going to be higher on than Marvin Jones, and I don't even think that's debatable.
And who would you play both? Who would you pick one if you had
Yeah,
to choose?
I definitely think you can play both. I probably, like, if I had to enter a cash game lineup right now, I would play both. I don't know what I'm gonna do later on. You'll have to read my content to find out. But yeah, I'm just extremely biased towards Marquez Callaway. Obviously, we know Jameis Winston's going to be aggressive, especially because the one time Jameis Winston started a preseason game, it was on Monday Night Football, and he threw 2 touchdowns to Marquez Callaway, and everyone in the world watched it. So, I mean, everyone's going to
That's
play.
not,
Yeah, everyone's going to play Callaway for sure, I think.
is he a thing that will he be on every passing
Yeah,
situation?
he's gonna be their first receiver while Thomas is out.
I don't even remember him last year.
Yeah, he balled out a couple games last year, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, that's interesting. The thing that I already hate, it's just crazy. NFL is just so wild in DFS these days that here we are. It's week one. We haven't even started, and we have a chalk Marvin Jones and a chalk Marquez Callaway, and we already talked about CMC and Dalvin Cook. So this is why. And Ben, I think you can agree to disagree that yes, we can make a great cash lineup and a great lineup in general, but like these days DFS is harder than it used to be. So if you want to make money, either do things like even I like to do, is like try to get a little weird. Like, I don't know if I'm going to play both of those guys. That's just me. I mean, to Ben's point, that probably, and again, you see how the data spit it out. I mean, here we are, it's Monday, and it's showing you, we filtered by value. And I mean, it's literally showing you the top 2 guys to play. It's week one. This projections portal works. I promise you that. So more often than not, play the guys with the highest value in all the positions. You'll make the best lineups. That being said, you want to win big, you're going to have to like make uncomfortable decisions. You're going to have to fade Marvin Jones. You're going to have to fade Callaway in some of your GBP lineups. Is Levinsky, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, then showing how, I mean, is he going to be owned? Because that's a guy to me immediately in a GPP, I will gravitate to him and fade Marvin Jones. I could see him being the ball buster that scores 2 touchdowns and ruins everybody's day in DFS.
Yeah, he's definitely in play. Don't mind that pivot at all. I don't even like. You don't have to play Marvin Jones or Marcus Callaway, like 100%. I just think for cash, at least one of them is probably the smart move. But for tournaments, you definitely can make those pivots. You could pivot to Traquan Smith if you want to pivot off Callaway. Like, definitely you can make those moves. I think Jerry Jeudy at 48 is also in play.
I love Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
Drafted him tonight.
I like Jerry Jeudy
I
a
love
lot.
him.
I think that's a really good price tag for him.
I do worry about that game and consider. I have the Bet Karma right now, betkarma.com. This is free, guys. Bet Karma, live odds. That over-under does scare me a bit. Again, Ben and I will talk about over-unders more as the year goes on. We didn't tonight for, I don't know, whatever reason. But that does scare me a little bit. What are your thoughts on Brandon Ayuk? It looks like he's projecting quite well, even in our value section.
Yeah, really interesting spot. I wish Trey Lance was going to start so that we could just go all in on that game. Obviously, Garoppolo is still capable. I believe, I don't know if you have the odds pulled up. The last time I looked, they were like 7-point road favorites. Obviously, Detroit is horrible. So I think just
that's a thing that concerns me. It's 7.5 now. Actually, the game flow. It's like, man, like I want to play guys from San Fran, but Jesus.
yeah, it's an interesting spot. I don't know if anyone will really be playing San Fran guys like just because Lance isn't starting. Like I don't think any of them will end up being super chalky. So I think that's an interesting tournament spot, definitely.
How about a guy like Michael Pittman at 4,100?
Yeah, that's another guy that's too cheap. Definitely think you can use him in all formats. And then last guy I'll mention is Rondale Moore. Going to be the full-time slot receiver for the Cardinals. Super good game, and he's stone min 3K on DraftKings. Definitely can use him as well.
I like that call. Wow, yeah, he actually, I'm scrolling down. Again, it's hard to see, but he is actually showcasing quite well. Ben and I could talk all night about all these receivers, but we gave you a core group of names, and at the end of the day, you are going to be living in the cheaper range this week. There's no doubt about that. I think a lot of the Cincinnati wide receivers are in play too, as well, for what it's worth. Definitely. All right, let's go to tight end.
Yeah, so tight end is easy because Kyle Pitts is going to be like 80% owned because he's 4,400. I don't know why he's that price. So everyone's going to play him. So it's easy for cash to just talk about that because that's who everyone's going to play. Obviously, there's other good plays, right? You can spend up Travis Kelce, always. Any of those guys are fine. Someone I think is interesting is Conklin from the Vikings. So he's obviously cheap, only 2,900. Actually was decent. Like there was a couple times last year on smaller slates where we were playing him because of the routes, amount of routes he was running, and now Irv Smith's out. So I think that's a pretty interesting.
Didn't they just trade for Herndon?
Yeah, dude, Conklin. I actually liked Conklin anyways. Like even with Irv Smith active because they play so much two tight end. So I actually think he's really interesting for cheap, like pivot. But I mean, for cash, like I don't know. I mean, how do you not play Pitts if he's gonna be that high owned? Like, kind of just take it at that ownership and move on.
It's just crazy. Like again, week one, we know half the plays, which is why this is going to be a fun GPP week, in my opinion. I feel like we started saying that a lot towards the end of last year, but yeah, if I'm making 4 lineups this week, and obviously one of them's my main cash lineup, I'll probably have Kyle Pitts in another GPP because he's that good of a play per point per dollar. Again, if you're looking at the projections portal on YouTube, shout out to the YouTube fam. I mean, Ben, you can, scroll by DK value right now. Kyle Pitts clearly ranks number 1. Isn't that funny how now we go to another section of the projections portal, and like I said, the data is going to do the work for you. Ben and I at this point could be robots, and the right thing is going to project. That's why we firmly believe in the projections portal, pun intended. Travis Kelce obviously is going to get some run. The Browns had an amazing draft. Wow, we went, 20 minutes and didn't talk about the Browns? That's crazy. And we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. You know what's going to happen. But, I mean, this is it. Like, we're down to 16-1. Shout out to the Browns, man. This is it. This is the year. Don't get me wrong. We got a lot of time to talk about the Browns. But, yes, Kelce is going to be – listen, the Browns secondary is actually absolutely legit. I think it's like an easy fade. I don't know, Ben, if you feel this way because we didn't even mention him, but, like, it's an easy fade for me with Tyreek this week. I mean, is that how you feel even in GPPs? Like, I feel like Tyreek is not going to get loose on this Browns secondary. I could be wrong, but I feel like Kelsey's the only route. But I like Kelce obviously a lot. And then, you got to kind of pick and choose with a couple other GPPs and get weird. Like Robert Tonyan's the same price point as Kyle Pitts. And I think he could outscore Pitts pretty easily, actually, like a touchdown, maybe a couple touchdowns. I mean, same price point. I am taking a look at Austin Hooper at 4,000. I think that game's going to obviously be electric, and Hooper is an intriguing play, in my opinion, this week. I feel like the Browns have to move the ball a little bit more through the air, and Hooper will be there. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking for a couple pivots around that 4K range. So anything else, Ben, here?
Yeah, you can use Anthony Ferkser for Tennessee, fitting with that game. He'll be pretty low owned relative to like their receivers, so that's an interesting way to get some exposure to that game.
I've died in the Ferkser hill way too much before.
Jonnu Smith's gone though now, so it's kind of his show.
I can't believe the New England situation. When I saw Hunter Henry and Jonnu there, I'm like, oh my god, that's All right, real quick, defense. We always finish quickly on the last of the defense. Ben, who are you looking at defense? Oh, wow. Projections portal actually has the defense ranked number 1 that I just drafted in my season long, and they actually have a really good matchup. Denver, the first 3 weeks of the season. I think Denver's in play the first few weeks of this entire season. They are priced up, though, and usually you and I are not paying up for defense.
Yeah, I think Bills definitely will be popular. Home favorite against terrible offensive line. 2,500. That's probably like the chalk route. But you could even punt with the Bengals. Like I know they're home dogs, but they're 2K. You know, stars and scrubs lineup. That's fine. But I think for cash, it's Bills. Like I don't see a reason not to play them at that price.
Yeah, no, I agree too. And again, I'll point out yet again how the robot itself, the Falcons, listen, it's not like a great defense. It's not even a great matchup, but it's literally showing you the value. If you sort by value, I'm just like Ben. Like a lot of times I'm just picking the $2,000, $2,100, $2,200 defense. And look, it's showcasing you $2,000 Falcons. Like whatever. I mean, you're going to get a few points out of them. Maybe you bank a interception touchdown. I don't ever think defense really at all. I kind of make my best lineup and knowing I barely have anything left for defense. But to your point, I like the Bills. I do like the Chargers. I like that spread at, like I said, 1. You brought it up earlier. It's going to be a great real life game. And, I just feel like Mr. Interception himself, a quarterback in Washington, he could easily throw 3 or 4 picks. Derwin James is back. That Chargers team is like sneaky, man. I mean, they are that team is kind of like the sleeping giant, I think, in the AFC that could actually ruin the Browns party and the Chiefs, obviously. So that does it, Ben. Anything else? Are we good for week 1?
Like the video, 100 likes. Let's run it up.
Let's get to 150. Come on now. We'll be getting those views up here for NFL. We got a fun season planned. We got a ton of things going on. Seriously, guys, great content schedule. Hop into our Discord if you're not there already. And seriously, we say it every year, but each year we've made tremendous strides. Check out our new websites, both of them, dfskarma.com and betkarma.com. You'll probably be quite surprised by the updates. And we're looking forward to having you back as a subscriber. Like a lot of you guys are here just for NFL. And that's okay. I mean, we'd love to have you for NBA and some of the other sports as well. But we're excited to have you back. There is a promo going. There's a discounted rate for the first few weeks here. So sign up now. Get to dfskarma.com. Go to pricing. You'll see the discounted rates. It's going to be there for a few weeks. But again, we're embracing you guys. We're welcoming you back, and we're excited to have you. Let's have a good week 1. Good luck this week, everybody. Let's get those likes up on YouTube. Thanks.